Welcome back, boxing fans. Sorry, I'm a little late. I was just walking the dog. Charlo and Lamana is in round one. It's on. I didn't like when I saw Charlo on the weigh-in yesterday. His body looking old, his body looking soft. The muscle that he used to have, that shit's gone. And obviously, that's what happens when you've been out of the ring, coking and partying for like 4 years. But obviously, Laman is not being put in here as a guy to beat Charlo. He's being put in there as a guy to give Charlo some rounds, allow Charlo to get back into shape so they could do a pay-per-view with Plant. So it is what it is. Nobody's coming under the illusion that Charlo's going to look like some superstar in this fight. But what they're trying to do is obviously get him prepared for a Plant fight. But the problem with that is if he comes in and he's not looking good in this fight, that's going to take a lot of the shine off of the potential fight between him and Plant, especially if Plant goes in and looks great. Then people are going to see that Charlo's just not really ready for Plant at this time. And the way he's looking, just going to kill a lot of the vibe on that fight. But let me know what you think. If Charlo wins this fight, regardless of how he wins today, are you going to be really excited to see Charlo versus Plant moving forward? Let me know. Maybe you will be. Jaime, what's up? So round one is done. As I said, Charlo, he still has the skills that made him great, still has a great jab. And obviously, we know the jab is the last thing to go, right? So you could expect him to have a very good jab for the rest of his career. And so far, his jabs look good. It's just, I don't know if this is the kind of Charlo that people are going to get really excited about. Think about Laman when he fought Erislandy Lara. 40-something-year-old Lara knocked him out in one round, if I remember correctly. So already Laman has went longer in this fight versus Charlo than he did versus a far older Erislandy Lara. The difference is Erislandy Lara has always been a consummate professional, unlike Charlo, who obviously has been out of the ring, not taking care of his body, not doing what he really needed to do to be a top-level athlete. Whereas, Lara's in the gym all the time. He's always in shape. I bet he doesn't put too much weight on. That's why it's so easy for him to go from one fight to another without really too much of an issue, even at his advanced age. Laman, this dude, you can watch him. He doesn't even have the confidence to think that he's potentially going to win this fight, even though he talked about taking Charlo to dark places. Charlo can win this fight just with his jab. That's all he needs. Laman is mostly just getting a paycheck. Did you see the Inter got demolished in Champions League? I saw 5-0. I didn't realize the match was last night, or else I probably would have went out to the bar and watched it. That's the problem. My buddy now has 2 kids and lives outside of the city. So, otherwise he would have been all over me to go watch that last night and have beers. But obviously, because he's out of town and with kids, he's busy. But I'm kind of happy that PSG won so convincingly because that makes Liverpool look good. Obviously, Liverpool got knocked out of Champions League by PSG, and PSG went on to dominate this year and win their first Champions League. So congratulations. And doing it after they got rid of Mbappe. So that's an even better thing. How does that make Mbappe look? They couldn't win with you, but once you left, man, it was easy. It was easy once you left. I don't know if I've seen Lamana even land a fucking punch. And this doesn't mean that Charlo's got great defense. Oh, there's a jab from Lamana. And then hold. I hit you with a jab, and then I hold you and clash heads. Round two is done. Who's in Charlo's corner now? I didn't see any of the build-up. I'm kind of wondering who's this guy? Obviously, he's no longer with the trainer he was before, so it's ironic how PSG couldn't do anything when they had Mbappe. Exactly. You think Bud has a chance? I see a path for him, but it won't be easy. Oh, I've always said that I feel Bud Crawford could win that fight. We saw Floyd win. We saw Bivol win. So we know how you can win, right? His parole. If you're going to travel out of state, you got to bring me with you. Funny. Yeah, but I definitely think Bud can win. My question is, with all the extra weight Bud's going to put on, how's that going to impact his legs? I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Bud's 37, going on 38 years old. Legs are obviously something that goes on fighters when they get older. And when you throw on so much weight, then it's going to be even more of an issue. I mean, I remember playing basketball, and instead of going up, I started going down when I jumped, right? So used to going up and flying through the sky, all of a sudden now my legs fucking would just sort of fold under me and I would fucking go down. And obviously, I was around the same age as Laura, 42. Obviously, I'm not a professional athlete, so you do expect Bud Crawford to be like Laura, consummate professional, always in shape. Obviously, he's been taking this whole year to put on weight to prepare for that fight. So hopefully he's going to do it the right way and be where he needs to be. Oh, Lamana is down. Oh, dude, look at you, man. You just a bomb-ass fucking opponent. Like, you talking loads of shit. Like, nobody ever thought you were going to win this fight. We know what you are. A bum-ass opponent that was fed to Lara, and now you're being fed to fucking Charlo. The dude looks like he's fucking got ticks. Newton, what's up? Charlo beating up this bum. Exactly. Well, that's what he's supposed to do, right? But the thing is this going to show you any indication that Charlo could beat up Plant? Because Plant would also beat up this bum. Like, both of their opponents are cherry pick opponents. Like, these are not fights where anybody had any fucking illusion that somehow it was going to be competitive fights. We know what they are. This is what the PBC does a lot. They give you fights where, of course, their fighter is supposed to look good. You're throwing a guy in with Lamana and say he's won 9 fights in a row since he got knocked out in 1 round by Lara, except he hasn't beat fucking anybody. So who cares? No one had very high expectations of these fights being very excited. What we expect is big knockouts from Charlo and Plant. I liked Hernandez, though, earlier on. I know Hernandez didn't get the knockout win, but it was a good performance from him. Look at Charlo. He's moaning a lot, moaning about the headbutt, now moaning to the ref, acting like he's all A-side. Dude, man. What's going to happen when you come under real fire against a real boxer? You're going to moan and groan and cry like a bitch? But Hernandez, the Cuban fighter today against Kyrone Davis, he looked good. I think he could have got rid of Kyrone Davis if he wanted to. But obviously for him, it's good experience going 10 rounds with a guy like Kyron Davis, who's a solid opponent, especially for a dude that was only his 8th professional fight. Round 4, yes, is the answer to that. Yo, Sean, what's up with your thoughts on Shakur Stevenson Zepeda and Katiev versus Morrell? Well, that's a great card, obviously. I mean, we've been hoping to get that Shakur versus Zepeda fight for some time. Obviously, some of the shine has been knocked off because of Zepeda's lukewarm performances against what's his face, Tevin Farmer. And obviously, we saw Morrell get beat by David Benavidez, but that's no real negative. Obviously, Benavidez is a top fucking operator. Kadiev is basically a prospect, right? Obviously, great amateur pedigree, but a guy that's had less than 10 fights as a pro. You throw him in with Morrell. At this point, you have to say they're on different levels. I mean, Morrell's been in with elite fighters. Kadiev hasn't even been with top 10 level competition. And now you throw him in with a guy like Morrell, who's a very dangerous fighter. Power, speed, obviously good boxing ability. You know, it's going to be a tough test for Kadiev. If he's able to win that fight, what a fucking statement that would be. Woo, what a statement. And similar to Zepeda, if Zepeda is able to use volume to outwork and beat Shakur, which is possible, right? Shakur is not a volume puncher, much more of a defense first type of guy as opposed to an offensive type of fighter. If Zepeda could kind of do what Maidana did to Floyd Mayweather, potentially he could pull the upset, but I don't think Zepeda is as good as Maidana. So I don't see that happening. But then at the same time, I mean, Shakur is not necessarily as good as Floyd. So I guess that evens out. But it's a great card. Also, I think my Japanese prospects on that fight card, so that's good. Tsutsumi making his second professional fight on another Saudi card. So I'm excited about seeing him back in the ring. Obviously, he's going to be fast-tracked quite a bit like his brother. So I expect him to be in with good opponents probably before the end of the year. Well, at least for Lamana, at least he's game. He could be, oh my God, what's that? What's wrong with your legs, buddy? What happened to your legs? That was a late reaction. Damn, dude. Nothing about Lamana makes you feel that this guy is a pro athlete. Nothing. Like he thinks he's fighting like some slick fighter, but dude, man. You're just lucky that fucking Charlo is washed because otherwise you would have got knocked out in one round too. Imagine if this was the 160-pound version of Charlo that fought Carlos Adames, or sorry, not Carlos Adames. He ducked Carlos Adames. Fought my man Derevchenko, right? Imagine if he would have fought Derevchenko the way he looks now. He would destroy this guy, rip through him easily. Probably just as easy, if not easier, than Erislandy Lara, because he was a far harder puncher than Lara and much more of an offensive fighter than Lara was. But here we are. Charlo needs rounds, so I guess that's a good thing. If you're going to fight Plant in a pay-per-view fight next, you got to get some fucking rust knocked off, that's for sure. And nothing better than knocking out a fucking bag of milk. Apparently strawberry milk. All I know is if I was a pro boxer in my biggest fight of my career, I would not look fucking so doughy. That's pretty disrespectful to milk. Well, to be fair, only thing I do with milk is put it in my coffee, and not even today, because today is black coffee, even though it doesn't say, oh, there you are, black coffee. So people can't be calling me a racist. There's no milk in my coffee. Did you guys see the fucking new new thing going on? People are so racially fucking entrenched. Caitlin Clark is on social media holding a black baby. And of course, people all over it trying to say that she's only using the black baby as a prop. She's trying to win black people's, respect by, showing she's not a racist because she'll even hold a black baby. Oh my God. People are fucking sick, man. Sick. Like if you go on Caitlin Clark's just feed, type in Caitlin Clark and baby, and you'll see fucking 100 pictures of her with babies and young kids. Because why? She's a role model. So kids want to meet her, get her autograph. Secondly, she's a girl. So the majority of her friends, colleagues, teammates, people that she went to college with, coaching staff, all women as well, many of whom have babies. If you're a woman and one of your friends has a baby, I guarantee there's a picture of you holding that baby. I'm a man. There's pictures of me holding babies. And I don't really, I didn't really grow up holding babies. So I'm not the most comfortable person holding a baby. But there's even pictures of me holding babies because obviously when all your friends have kids, you're going to be put in that position. But people are mental, man. Mental. Imagine Michael Jordan holding a white baby. You think people would have said that baby was being used as a prop? People are desperate, man. Seems a lot of black people hate on Caitlin Clark. People just can't respect a non-black athlete that is dominating the sport, right? That's the problem. They just can't respect primarily Americans, right? Black Americans. Because, outside of America, I don't think this is such a big fucking issue. I think if you go to England or, oh my God, the dude's legs are fucking terrible. Fight's over. You turn your back. Yeah. Come on, dude. Like, it's kind of pathetic to even put this guy in the ring with fucking Charlo. They didn't cancel that fight. Man. Yeah, they should stop it. I mean, obviously Charlo does need and why is the corner man shaking so much? The last thing I want is a corner man whose hands are shaky, right? Like when he's supposed to deal with my cuts and make me feel confident. But meanwhile, you're like doing this. Like not one of those punches landed. You fucking just went down and literally both those punches hit your gloves. Gloves. Like the corner should totally stop the fight. Not the doctor, the corner. Yeah, dude. He's a bag of milk. You don't want him to get punctured and fucking spill all over the floor. Like Lamana. Oh my God, I was going to win the fight. I was in it. I was so close. I was getting to him. I was bringing him to dark places. It's like, fuck, come on, man. You were there to get beat up, and that's what you did. And then, the pro PBC dudes are going to act like Charlo's a monster, look fucking great. And realistic people are going to be like, I don't know if I want to see this guy in with Plant. Because I guarantee you, Plant is going to look way better than this. Like it must be a cold, harsh reality to people that when you think about 7% of the world's population does so well in sports, because that's what it is. Caitlin Clark represents 7% of the global population. 7%. They might want to say that in America, blacks are the minority, but in truth, globally, whites are the minority. We are 7% of the global population. Meanwhile, some of the best athletes in the world are Caucasian. Yeah, they stopped the fight in the corner, which made more sense. There's no point letting that guy go out again. Like his legs were fucking shot, man. He's getting dropped from getting punched in the gloves. Yeah. I mean, for Charlo, obviously he would have preferred to go in there and knock that guy out, right? Get him out of there with like a good punch and drop him for the count. That would have obviously been far more memorable and more of a, ESPN highlight reel type of victory. But it's fine. People know what he is. This dude was just smoking the crack pipe 6 months ago. So what do you expect him to be doing now? There's his brother. When's he coming back? Like, the only fight I'd like to see his brother in would be against Spence, right? Him and Spence would be a good fight. Obviously, two guys coming off of losses. You'd put that on pay-per-view. It makes sense because obviously they're both big names. Just like Charlo and Plant, that's all they're doing. They're trying to jam a pay-per-view down boxing fans' throats, acting as if this is a fight people wanted. But it's not. This fight is not relevant at this point. It would have been more relevant to see Andrade Charlo at 160 pounds, right? To be honest. And the way his body looks, maybe he would have looked better at 160. Because at 168, he don't look great. You landed 19 punches. Charlo landed 67. Pay-per-view on names only, not relevant at all. But that's pretty much what most pay-per-views are nowadays, right? I mean, you look at what the face of American boxing, what's his name? Jake Paul. I mean, that's all he's doing, right? Trying to use name opponents to push pay-per-views. First KO in 2,002 days. What belt are you giving him? What belt's he getting? Like, how do you get a belt when it's your first fight at 168 pounds? I don't like this guy either, Brian Campbell. Inspirational.
Guinea and West Africa, and I hung out with my people at Equatorial Guinea, and I got to work, and I knew my time was there. Shout out to H, shout out to the president, the first lady. I want to thank y'all for always believing in me. Thank everybody on my team, man. I'm happy. I don't have to tell you, there's a lot of talk out there, maybe a potential super fight between you and Caleb Plant, who's in tonight's.
What do you mean talk? Talk.
About your standing of that potential matchup. I was more so focused on this fight, getting this fight out the way. They know what it is. They know where I'm at. I want my leg back. You know what's going on. There's been talk this week in boxing circles that boxing's more fun when the Charlo twins are on top, when they're active. What can we look forward to now
Really?
in your future inside the ring? Just to stay relevant, no more dark places, and keep my head straight. And just want to encourage everyone in the world, keep God first. Keep God first. Drew out Charlo quickly. He gave you a lot of credit for being one of the reasons he got up off the canvas in life and got back here. How do you rate your brother's performance? It's about something. It's about getting that done. It's about being with you right now. We're not here trying to worry about rushing it, trying to be in. I know the fans want to see us. I know the fans want us back, but life is life, and we got to get life together first so we can do this for y'all. And I'm following my brother. This could be the beginning of a Charlo Brothers comeback in 2025. Congratulations.
I know. Yeah. The whole point of this card was to give us the pay-per-view card. And people say anything to get a paycheck because These dudes aren't serious anymore. They just know they could cash out and they're looking for the opportunity to make some money. Pacquiao. I love Pacquiao. But Pacquiao Mario Barros, fuck that garbage. Tim Tszyu versus Funduro, fuck that garbage. I know that fight is more realistic. But the point is, that dude just got knocked the fuck out, destroyed by Murtazaliev. How come nobody's putting heat on Barrios to unify versus Boots, right? That's what people should be pushing for. Boots, Mario Barros, unification, right? Not Pacquiao. Pacquiao could fight fucking Amir Khan on a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. They both will get paid big money, and it is what it is, a sideshow, right? And then Tim Tszyu, man, go fight Ramos, go fight somebody else, build yourself back up. Right now, we want to see Funduro fight a champion like Murtazaliev, right? Go fight Murtazaliev for unification. Like literally, he ducked his mandatory for the WBO, getting stripped of his WBO title. You notice none of the usual suspects even talk about that shit. No one says a word. No one says a word that Funduro got stripped because he ducked his WBO mandatory. But if that was anybody else, you know social media would be fucking blowing up, talking about how this dude's ducking, this guy ain't fighting that. They said that about Canelo when he didn't fight William Skull, right? Even though they didn't want to see that fight. Nobody wanted to see that fight, and now we saw why. But still, people acted as if Canelo was ducking Skull, his mandatory. Give me a break. Give me a break, right? Like, I mean, the hypocrisy is ridiculous. It's always been ridiculous. Since the Pacquiao fucking Floyd Mayweather era, that's how far back it really started. But I mean, come on. I love Pacquiao. But do I want to see Pacquiao fight Mario Barros and have to pay $85 to watch that fight as if it's something I've been asking for? Fuck no. No one's asking for that shit. Here we go. PBC, hyping up crap. And people shit on Pacquiao, right? The usual suspects, as if Pacquiao shouldn't at least chase what he's chasing. The problem is Mario Barros.
It's a champion. The biggest question from everybody, Manny, is how much do you have left? I'll ask you that at 46. What can we expect to see from the great Pac-Man? You know me, I always bring surprises to the fans. Like what I did before, I have to train hard and make sure that I'm for the condition of the fight. Mario, you've been on the highest level before. Pay-per-view fights with Tank and Keith Thurman. But getting a name like this to defend your title against July 19th here in Las Vegas, it's got to feel like a mountaintop moment somewhere.
Definitely. It's a huge for me. It's huge for boxing. Maybe let coming back out of retirement. To fight for my WBC title. It's an honor, to be defending against him. But I'm expecting one of the hardest fights of my career, and I think that's exactly what people are going to see. July 19th.
I know the admiration, the respect you have.
Yeah, okay.
How do you turn that off on fight night going in against a legend like this?
Not me. I keep it 100. I could be justifying Pacquiao getting this fight, but you don't see me doing that.
Manny, you have a chance to join the history books with the likes of Bernard Hopkins, George Foreman, Archie Moore. Do you feel like you have the potential to be an inspiration for us 40 and over guys to
Oh my
follow your
God.
dream to the big moment? That's what I'm trying to do, to be an inspiration to the young kids and also the people who love boxing. Manny, you'll also be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in June, 1 month before this fight. Congratulations. What does that honor mean to you?
Thank you. It's a great honor for me to be inducted as Hall of Fame. And also, that's a history. I mean, I can say, I can imagine in my boxing career, I will get the Hall of Fame.
We know his accolades. What type of fight should we expect when you two touch gloves July 19th?
I think everybody knows what type of fight Manny brings. Everybody knows that. I never.
They don't know now because he's fucking a retired 40-year-old.
July 19th is going to be nothing short of an exciting night for boxing and just the world of sports.
The world champion Mario Barrios, the living legend, Manny Pacquiao, July 19th, BBC on Prime Video pay-per-view. We'll go back to Ronaldo.
Why would I look sad? This is the problem with boxing. You didn't see me happy that Mike Tyson was fighting Jake Paul. All those Roy Jones fights that were well past his best, you didn't see me excited about those either. These fighters shouldn't be getting these opportunities and being pushed into these fights. We know they're fighters, so of course they feel like they're going to take the opportunity. And when you get this big money in front of you, you're going to jump at it. But that's why I said if Pacquiao was fighting, say, Amir Khan, I'd be cool with that. But getting a world title fight, how does the WBC fucking get off fucking even sanctioning this fight? Right? The problem is the sanctioning bodies allowing this shit to happen. The WBO, one of the most legit fucking sanctioning bodies, they tried to push that Errol Spence Funduro fight. The WBO said, fuck that shit. We ain't sanctioning that. The dude just got knocked out his last fight 2 years ago and has never fought at 154. So no, we ain't sanctioning that fight. So thank God, because the WBO said that, we didn't end up getting Funduro versus Spence. But now we're getting Pacquiao, Mario Barrios. Wouldn't we rather see Barrios fucking against Boots Ennis? Wouldn't that be a way better fight? Right? A 3-belt unification? I mean, that's the shit we should be pushing for. That's what the PBC should be pushing for. But the PBC's got a long fucking legacy of ducking fights that make sense and are the fights fans want to push bullshit down our throats, right? And then charge us fucking pay-per-view for it. The Pac is coming back to get his head beat in by a bum-ass opponent. Exactly. Just like Mike Tyson came back to get beat up by a fucking social media fucking influencer. It was hard to watch. Fighters at this age should be in exhibition fights, not fighting for titles. Exactly. That's why I say, go to Saudi Arabia, fight Amir Khan. Both will make millions of dollars. It'll get tons of hype, but the shit don't count on your record. It ain't legitimate, right? It just is a money grab. And that's what we know they are, a money grab. But the fact that WBC and the PBC are working together to give us this and acting as if it's legitimate, come on, man. We saw what Pacquiao looked like in his fight with fucking the Cuban. He looked fucking shot, done in that fight. And that was years ago. Young blood should be getting those shots. Exactly. Like, how are you going to build up the next generation of superstar fighters? By giving them fucking opportunities, right? To showcase themselves on big platforms in front of crowds. We don't need to keep jamming old fucking heads down our throat. I don't care if I ever see fucking the Charlos fight again. I don't care seeing Spence fight. I don't care if I ever see Pacquiao fight. I don't need to see fucking any of these old dudes fight anymore. Obviously, I'm a Lomachenko, Roman Gonzalez fan as well. I'd love to see those two guys fight because they're still relevant, right? Even though Roman Gonzalez and Lomachenko are starting to fucking lose relevance because they've been out of the game for fucking over a year now, right? And you start fading into obscurity. You're 38 years old, right? At this point, what are you really going to do? So, it's going to be soon where they're fucking gone too. And I'm going to be saying the same thing with them. I don't need to see those guys fight anymore because there's tons of up and coming young superstar fighters that I want to focus on. But unfortunately, a lot of these YouTube channels, they only focus on a handful of fighters, all name fighters, primarily many of them, all PBC fighters. So when these fighters leave, they literally got nothing to talk about. If you don't have Wilder, Charlo, Spence, Tank Davis, then literally PBC fanboy is going to talk about what? They're going to talk about nothing because literally there's nothing else to talk about. They need these guys to fucking stay around so they can push narratives and build content based off of it. But any real boxing fans, we're happy to fucking see the next crop of fucking young G's move forward. And this ain't one of them. You want to see Manny fight Boots? Come on, man. You're part of the problem too. Boots got two fucking fighters he should be fighting. Norman or fucking Barrios. If not them, then move to 154 or fight fucking Teofimo Lopez. They make big money. This is a 160-pound fighter that got knocked out by an overrated prospect. No. Oh, you know, also can't stand listening to fucking these. Like Brian Campbell was anti-PBC, and somehow now he is working with the PBC, blowing smoke up their ass. People do anything for money, right? Sprinkling sugar on chocolate, or sorry, sugar on shit. Like, Plant's going to beat this guy, and we're going to see somebody who's relevant. Plant's relevant, even though in saying that, there's probably still 4 or 5 guys at 168 pounds that could beat him. You would work for the PBC if they threw you the bag too. How much is the bag? For me to leave my life, to move to the States, to blow smoke up PBC ass fighters, it'd have to be life changing, because I'd have to change my life. Move from Asia to the US, move from my comfortable life to a new environment. So, Caleb Plant. Boots versus Tio is the fight. Big name, no name, and big money. No name and big money. Yeah, I don't understand why they're not taking that fight. It's the biggest name on Boots' resume. He can't fight the champions because they're cherry picking fucking other dudes. Sasaki in Japan. You wouldn't need to leave Asia. Of course I'd need to leave Asia. I'm gonna fucking fly 12 hours to go to the States to do these kind of things. Like, it doesn't make much realistic situation, because literally, if you're going to go to fight night, you got to get there, what, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you're there 4 days. It takes me fucking 12 hours to fly, meaning that I leave Tuesday to land late Wednesday or whatever the situation is. And then I fly back home. I get there Monday. And then I got to fly back out fucking Tuesday. If they gave you 10 grand a month video to blow smoke up the PBC. So I make videos on YouTube and get paid $10,000 a month to blow smoke up the PBC's ass. Maybe then you're right, because I wouldn't change my lifestyle. I could still sit here. I just have a big PBC moniker behind me. Maybe that's true. I would not have to chase anything. But who would believe anything I said? Right? Like, I don't know if PBC fans really believe anything Brian Campbell has to say. Because if you go watch Brian Campbell and his YouTube channel and go back 2 or 3 years, but $10,000, then I wouldn't have to teach anymore. I just have to work on weekends. That girl does not look Mexican. You're not biased enough for that, Sean. I know, but he's trying to say that if you pay me 10,000 US a month, that I would become biased enough to do it. I could try, but I wonder if I'd be able to pull it off. I don't know. I don't know if I could shut my mouth long enough to fucking not expose the lies to that. I'm definitely not the person the PBC would offer that deal to, right? That's the point. They wouldn't offer me that deal because they know they'd be fucking barking up the wrong tree. Even though you offer enough money, people are going to potentially change their tune, especially when it's just sports talk. Can bias be sarcastic? Maybe a little tongue in cheek, right? Can't be too much. People are too sensitive. They take everything too serious. What was the video I put out the other day making fun of Fannin, acting as if there's a real FBI fucking inquiry into him? People take shit too serious. How does this kid even walk into a world title? Ask yourself that question. What has this kid done to earn a world title fight? Right? Like Charlo at least fought for a non-world title, I think. Oh my God, Caitlin Clark using white babies to try to win over white people. Nashville, Tennessee. He has 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the two-time super middleweight champion of the world. Two-time. Popular and defending interim WBA super middleweight world champion. What title does he have? Oh, he got the regular title. I was gonna say he don't even have a title at 168. What belt does he fucking have? Who did Plant win to get a fucking title? Who did he beat? Trevor McCumbee? He beat Trevor McCumbee and ended up winning a WBA title. This kid he's fighting, what has he done? He literally got knocked out by Elijah Garcia in 8 rounds, came back, fought a guy 5-2, and now he's getting a world title fight. World title fight, right? I got Plant in a Canelo rematch. Man, they're not going to give Plant a fucking Canelo rematch because Plant's not going to fucking get $10 million like he did the first time. The first time he had something to offer. This time he got nothing to offer. Of course he's going to style on this bum. That's the whole reason they put him in there. They put Charlo and Plant in with bum-ass opponents to try to fucking hype up a pay-per-view fight based on a slap. But I guarantee Plant's going to look better than fucking Charlo did. Round 1. Caleb Plant. Now, if Garcia, a 160-pound prospect, could stop this guy in 8 rounds, it would be very disappointing if Plant's not able to stop this guy in this fight. If the fight goes to distance, it would really show you further one of the criticisms people's had towards Plant, the fact that he's a fucking defense-first, boring-ass fighter. I don't think Plant beats fucking Mimbili. I don't think Plant beats Iglesias. I know Plant does not beat fucking Diego Pacheco. Diego Pacheco will knock Caleb Plant out. He's just going to drop a right hand over that fucking jab. Boom! Lights out. I just found out what the explanation for redneck is. I'll explain it during the break. Being a Caucasian, I mean, I've been known to get a red neck, but there's even more of a connotation to it that I just found out last week. Interesting. See, this is the problem with Plant. His style is boring as fuck. You're in with a bum-ass opponent and you're making him look better than he is. To be fair, though, I think this guy would beat fucking Thomas Lamana. But so far, Plant's just pecking and poking. Round one, I guess you give it to Plant, but literally nothing exciting happened in that round. Nothing to talk about at all. But apparently, the whole point of redneck came from Irish slaves, because obviously, Irish, when they got chased out of Ireland during the potato famine, became slaves in the Caribbean. And obviously, Caribbean, hot, and they're being such fair-skinned people, they were like burnt to a crisp. So hence the name redneck, which obviously just started to refer to all white people in the South. Redneck, but it was white slaves, Irish slaves. But yes, Caleb Plant, bit of a redneck. Round two. Let's see if he can put his offense together. See, this is the problem why I hate dudes that don't use combination punching. You can be a boxer and defense first, but you gotta let your hands go fucking at least 2 or 3 times during a round. You're just gonna fight off a jab and then wonder why you've never been really somebody people wanted to watch fight. Like Plant has no fan base. You know, PBC fans pretend to like him, but only because he's on the PBC. In truth, they don't like him. Because if he actually was anything, there's no way he'd get away defending a bullshit email title on a fight card like this against a bum-ass opponent moving up from 160 pounds. How's it going? What's up, Jag? Hajo Bujen. Long time no see, my brother. Plant's boring. Charlo did what he had to do. Charlo, at least offensively, looked more exciting than this. At least he threw some punches with bad intention. The term redneck originated in the 19th century to describe Southern Americans. No, London, you're wrong. You're wrong. I just told you where it came from. And that way fucking predates 19th century America from the South. But leave it to fucking some ignorant young Englishman who was part of fucking the slave trade pushing Irishmen into slavery in the Caribbean to fucking ignore the truth. I think Pacheco is fighting Macumbi next. He is. All good here, brother. Good to hear. Good to hear. Are you watching this card? As I said, I mean, it's on Amazon. Thank you very much. What a man. I'm a redneck. I'm a redneck. Wouldn't you like to be a redneck too? Be a redneck. You believe everything you see on Twitter. Okay, but I should believe you, the fucking encyclopedia of fucking, you know, pre-modern slavery. Not watching, just watching you watch. What are you doing? It's on Amazon. Free for everybody. So far, this fight is exactly how you figure. Plant being very defensive, not wanting to open up, thus making it pretty uninteresting. To give it to Armanda, at least he's trying to get into range, but he's a limited fighter. So, but thanks very much. You're a man among kings. It's okay. I prefer the interaction. Not so much interaction today. I wonder where all the PBC fans are. We only got London MG, the London PBC fan, rocking and rolling. So, Jag, what do you think about Munguia failing the PED test? Oh, the whole problem about all that shit is it always becomes a race conversation, right? Mexicans cheating, blacks are righteous, right? They're sucking each other's dicks. Probably on fucking BFTB's channel. But, the whole irony is anybody that's truly a boxing fan realizes most of these guys are cheating, using PEDs. Otherwise, when there's money to be made, you will cheat. Right, London MG? If Sean will sell his soul to the PBC for 10 grand, what will people do for millions of dollars? Munguia is a mongoloid, everybody using for sure. A mongoloid. You're so mean. He seems like a nice kid, actually, and well spoken for a mongoloid. You know who's a mongoloid? Check out this picture and tell me if I'm not stretching reality. I think there's some truth to this. Where's that picture? Come on, picture. You're on there somewhere. Oh, there it is. Isn't that mongoloid features? You tell me. When I saw that picture, the first thing I thought was mongoloid, right? Not to be a hater. It's just I worked in the industry in Vancouver, so I've seen it quite a bit. That forehead doesn't lie. Yeah, exactly, right? I'm not trying to be a hateful motherfucker. It's just that was my first instinct when I saw the picture. I'm like, oh. That's why some people don't do live on video, right? Because the scrutiny. I mean, I came under scrutiny because I had all my hair. Imagine if I was a bald motherfucker, right? The scrutiny I'd come under. Because, when you interact with people on social media or on the internet or YouTube or whatever, you're going to run into all kinds of people. And so people are going to be nasty, nasty, nasty. Facts, these guys melting down the balloons back up in 24 hours. That's not natural. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they may not be using PEDs, but they're using something, right? That's the whole point. There's different things you can use, things that allow you to cut weight, right? So you can cut weight and still keep your strength. Obviously, during training, they're probably using stuff to help them recover, right? So there's all kinds of different things you can use that aren't steroids. Simple feature of alcohol fetal syndrome. Shh. I wouldn't go that far because I don't know the person's family or mother, so I wouldn't say anything of that. In truth, I mean, then it could have happened to me because my mother was smoking and drinking in pregnancy. But of course, in the 60s, that was normal. It was okay to have a cigarette and a fucking, an alcoholic beverage in your hands when you were pregnant. That was the norm. That's why us kids are born different. Not some weak ass simps because our mothers weren't having Mozart fucking on their stomachs when they were pregnant with us. My mother was probably listening to the Beatles, smoking cigarettes, drinking a bourbon on the rocks. Plant got the beak scraped. Yeah, look at that, eh? That's what happens when you're a white boy. Your face marks up too easy. Plant, your wife's going to be disappointed. Amen. I'm part of that 50 plus club. That's it. Oh, can you believe this guy took a round? Come on, Caleb. The fact you're letting this guy actually fucking stay competitive. They just say the fact that so many kids born from C-section and makes them weak. They didn't struggle to be born. Yeah, I never thought of it like that, but I guess there's some truth to that, right? Trying to fucking crawl and squirm through the fucking cave to fucking reach the light, whereas a C-section would be a lot more like obviously easier, but also maybe more traumatic. Mind you, I was born like 2 months premature. That's probably has something to do with the alcohol and booze. That's why I blame my lack of NBA basketball career because I didn't get to fully mature and grow to my true height. What do you call a guy with a red neck and a red beak? What's up, Henry? Yo, boy, Plant. Getting clipped. He's getting clipped, that's for sure. He's making this fight far more competitive than it needs to be. But I guess in hindsight, that's probably a good thing. If he struggles with this bum ass opponent, I guess people are going to think Charlo has a good chance of potentially beating him. So that'll help hype up the potential pay per view between the two of them. My question is, how is this a world title fight? Who did fucking Plant beat to win a world title? Elijah Garcia knocked this guy out in 8 rounds, Caleb Plant, at 160 pounds. Elijah Garcia, who got beat really in his last 2 fights. Cornflake, hopefully we never have to see that fucking guy again. Honestly had never heard of him until he was cherry picked for Erislandy Lara. And then I never watched him again until obviously he was just cherry picked fucking for Charlo. So I guess we'll get to see him when he gets cherry picked for fucking Spence, right? That's probably the next time we'll get to see him. I respect Plant. He has balls. Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be fair, everyone that steps in the ring has balls, right? I can't hate on the fighters. It's just the politics, right? The whole fucking game and the twisting to try to fucking take money out of yours pocket and my pocket for fights that nobody is interested in, nobody asked for. But to step in the ring, fight another dude, yeah, man, you gotta have balls, courage to get in there and fucking let your hands go. They were talking about bringing boxing back to high school, was in the States. I think that's a great idea. I think when boxing was part of PE class in schools, things were far better, right? It was a better time. And then you have fights and problems at school, then you tell the kids to get in the ring, right? To deal with it that way. You're going to have less serious injuries, less animosity. Problems are going to be fucking cleared up quick. Sean don't like slick black fighters like Plant. Well, he ain't black, but yes, I don't like slick fighters. They're boring. Look at Plant. We watched 4 rounds of this fight so far, and the only excitement is the fact that Amando fucking brightened up Plant's beak. Outside of that, there's nothing exciting about this fight. I would say the Charlo fight was more exciting than this. At least Charlo's a boxer puncher. So behind a good jab, I would say a better jab than Plant's, to be fair. Big right hands were coming back. In this fight, this guy wants to pick, poke, 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 pick and poke. Boxing should be more mainstream. It should be, right? Back in the day, kids were in better shape. People were more mentally healthy. You had less violence at school. You have PE class, boxing. It's a good thing. Put that headgear on, put those gloves on, get in there. We just had boxing glove and headgear in my kindergarten. Mind you, we didn't have the kids fucking go in and start punching each other. It was for our May Play show. But yeah, often I thought, okay, you guys want to fight? Here's the perfect opportunity. Let's throw the gloves on. We'll get all the kids around in a circle and let you go. Caleb Plant most definitely is the slick black fighter category. Fucking for sure he is. For sure he is. And that's why when people talk about this as a race thing, it's not a race thing. It's a style thing. Plant's boring as fuck. And if you think Plant is boring, then you shouldn't be offended when people say fucking Haney or Shakur are boring too. Or Lara, who's not even American, but a Cuban. Cubans always have been boring. But stay tuned to my video later this week when I talk about the new era of Cuban boxers, the non-boring generation. That video should be dropping later today. So make sure you tune in and check it out. Share and like. Sean, can you make boxing big in America? No. Taiwanese people only care about school. Education. They do sports strictly as a recreational activity. And if it gets in the way of piano class or math tutoring class, then that takes a second, then it's cut off and we don't need it anymore. That Hernandez Cuban guy is a beast. Well, he's who's inspired my video that's coming up, man. He's definitely the new generation of Cuban fighters. That guy looks like a real problem at the middleweight division and obviously eventually 168. Cubans are putting out a lot of good 160, 168 pound fighters. When we think about Iglesias, Morel, and now this Hernandez kid, William School, he's old school. Fuck that guy. Nobody ever wants to see that guy fight again, ever. Tell them the confidence in boxing makes them more confident in education. Because at the end of the day, the main question is, can you kick my ass? Well, with the road rage that sometimes happens in Taiwan, that would definitely be something positive. Yes, Telez at 154. You also have the kid at 135. What's his name? Shit, I can't remember. Then you have the cruiserweight kid at the Cuban, and then the heavyweight kid as well. So there's some real fun Cuban fighters, some real boxer punchers. Who knows what they'll develop into, but I mean, at least it'll be fun watching their rise, right? Because at least they bring a style that's fun. Not like Plant. Plant lost 2 rounds to fucking a kid that got beat by Elijah Garcia. Not Andy Cruz. He's old school, boring as fuck. Nobody wants to watch Andy Cruz. No, not him. There's another guy at 135. People were hating on Shakur. They were saying that Shakur should fight him instead of the plumber from England. Fuck no, not Bartholomew. That dude is terrible. He's definitely old school. Herrera. This kid. Shadir Herrera. 17-0 with 15 KOs. Are you going to block me again, Sean? I'm totally going to block you. Is it really you, or is it somebody using your image? Because that's where obviously the mistake popped up. But luckily, I blocked both of you, so at least I got the one guy that was correct. It was just unfortunate that I got you as well in the crossfire. That's what happens when you start fucking opening up. You know, you don't know who's going to get in the crossfire. You want to know something? For Chicanos in school, the most popular ones are the ones that can kick ass. Robsy Ramirez too. Ramirez, but yeah, his brutal quidditch and stoppage in his last fight definitely makes him slide down. There you go, collateral damage. Yes, Hucker Mustang was just collateral damage. He got too close to the friendly fire. What do you guys think about Keyshawn Davis versus De Los Santos? People really trying to make that fight into Don't get me wrong, great fight, great matchup. But people really trying to act as if De Los Santos is going to beat Keyshawn Davis. And people look for every reason to downplay and shit on Keyshawn, obviously because of his connection to Bud Crawford, right? We've seen that play out time and time again. But come on, man. Keyshawn Davis is going to go in there and knock that motherfucker out. And then people are going to say, he's been inactive, right? They're going to have the excuse after he gets knocked out. They don't want to, of course, give Keyshawn Davis any credit at all. And now Abdullah Mason's out there. Oh, you're going to get, oh my God. Can you imagine Caleb Plant got knocked out? Fucking Christ. But this guy would beat Canelo. Sure, he's going to beat Canelo. Oh my God. Caleb Plant. This is what happens when you look past your bum-ass opponent for a pay-per-view with fucking Charlo. You're pulling a fucking Ryan Garcia, buddy. You're pulling a Ryan Garcia. Jordan, you used to look hot, but not anymore. Plant getting his ass whooped. Oh my God. I should have blocked my clones. You should. That's what you do next time. Do that. At least then it's easy to fucking figure out who's who. All these clones that come running around, I don't know what the fuck is going on with that shit. I think it's moving into round 7. This is the same guy Elijah Garcia knocked out in 8 rounds. You look like you're going to get your ass knocked out in 8 rounds here, Caleb Plant. After this, then they're going to probably use Caleb Plant to shit on Canelo. But then still, of course, hype up David Benavidez. Even if you go on to win this fight, man, this is a bad look, Caleb Plant. All the shit you talk. Problem is, Plant's got no fucking power. Sean, what are your thoughts on Oak City versus Pacers? Did Pacers win today? Did they pull it off? All I saw is that PSG won Champions League 5-0, which was great. But yeah, I think that's a great matchup. Obviously, I was sort of thinking it was going to be Cleveland versus Oak City, the two teams with the best records in the East and West. But obviously, Indiana's been playing great. Ever since people said that Halliburton was the most overrated player in the NBA, Halliburton has fucking picked it up like crazy. So that's a great matchup. Both teams are deep. Obviously, you got Halliburton and you got Shea, two of the best young guards in the NBA. Neither of them are exciting and kind of face of the NBA type of guys, but as long as they keep pushing their team forward, it's going to be exciting. I don't care who wins. Obviously, Indiana has more of a history. But for Oak City, it would obviously be huge if they won. Just talk about how much better they'd be next year, right? Plant, I thought you were a boxer. So you can't win on the outside outboxing the guy. So now you're fucking on the inside scrapping with them as if somehow that's going to help you win against a Mexican fighter. Because literally that's what he hopes you do. Halliburton is 2002-5. Andre Miller with the 3-ball. Even though he shoots the 3-ball like Magic Johnson with a fucking ugly set shot, right? People used to like mock and ridicule Magic Johnson, talking about how he would not be able to dominate in today's fucking NBA. But then Halliburton's got the same ugly kind of jump shot that he has. So it's like, come on, man. Stop that shit. Magic would still be fucking dominating in 2025. 6'9" point guard with mad handle. Great passing ability. Could rebound like a fucking power forward. But yeah, I don't care who wins. I think it'll be fun. But to be fair, I haven't been watching much since Denver got beat. So I was kind of hoping Denver was going to win. Oh, 125, 108. Easy work. Easy work. What's the player stats? Turner, 11. Nemhart, 14. Halliburton, 21 and 13. Siakam, 31. I think Siakam is going to be the hard matchup for Oak City. Naismith, another Canadian, 10. Toppin, 18. Bryant, 11. Man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-point scorers. I mean, that says a lot. Robinson, 8. Towns, 22. OJ, 24. Brunson, 19. Bridges, 14. Oh, Shamat, they played him. 12 points, not bad. McBride, they didn't play too much. I really expected a little more from New York this year, to be fair. Obviously, when they made the trade for Randolph versus Towns, I thought that New York won that. But right now, obviously, Randolph has went into the finals and Towns the semifinals. Sean, why don't you support your Canadian brother, SGA? It's not that I don't support him. I just don't think it's like watching boxing. Stylistically, he's not an exciting fighter to watch. He's kind of like the newer version of fucking Jamal Harden, or sorry, Harden. How come I can't think of Harden's name? And I didn't like watching Harden either, right? But obviously, I'm happy that he's successful and does well. Anybody that represents Canada. Why are Spence fans so pro Canelo now? Are they? Really? I can't imagine that. I figure most Spence fans are pro David Benavidez and anti Canelo. This is round 8, Plant. This is the round fucking prospect. Garcia knocked out this kid. SGA is kind of boring. Exactly. He ain't even an exciting passer, right? With a team as deep as they are, with such great shooters, he's not even a guy that makes great passes and fucking sets up his team. He kind of holds the ball too much, right? A little too ball dominant. So is Luka, but at least Luka makes great passes to his teammates. SGA, not so much, man. Sean, in the late 90s, the last good era of the NBA, that's the last time I watched. I obviously have watched all the time until all this woke bullshit started a few years ago during COVID and a little bit before that. And then obviously you had fucking the whole Black Lives Matter stuff and all that preaching and stuff. I fucking don't like all the preaching. I don't need my athletes to preach to me, just like I don't need my fucking actors and people to preach to me. I don't need that shit. I don't watch movies to be preached to. I don't watch sports to be fucking preached to. Literally, we watch TV and movies to get away from fucking the drama of life, right? If we want to be preached to, we watch the news and shows of that level, 60 Minutes and stuff like that. But why would I go to what I do to get away from all the bullshit and then have these fucking overpaid prima donnas try to fucking tell me what I should believe and what I should think? Fuck those guys, man. Like, that's why I say, LeBron, just shut up and dribble. Because you didn't even fucking go to university. Why would anybody listen to you? The only reason you got money is because you were born genetically fucking a beast that could then capitalize fucking on a sport because of that. As far as you telling people what they believe and how they should lead their lives, give me a fucking break. That dude, come on, give me a break. 2000, 2010 era was exciting. Well, Kobe, right? The whole Kobe era. Allen Iverson obviously was super exciting. Kobe, the Mamba. Charlo looked terrible against that one bum he fought. He didn't look terrible. It was just he fought a bum. So he wasn't asked to do too much. But yeah, physically, he just doesn't look very good. LeBron said, I don't even talk to white people anymore. Really? Did he say that? LeBron is a fucking tool. See, he's a guy who supports fucking China, but he doesn't support America. That's why I look at people like him. I'm like, you're the problem, man. You fucking gonna get people out of jail just so Trump doesn't become president, but you're fucking pro fucking Xi and fucking what's happening in China, all because you're making money off of it. Fucking bullshit, motherfucker. I thought the Lakers should have kept Eddie Jones and traded Kobe. Boy, was I wrong. Yes, you were wrong. Wrong big time. You know that regardless of how this goes, I mean, Plant's probably going to win the decision, even if everybody believes he lost truthfully. Montiel was the guy's name. Montiel. What are you talking about, David? Someone Montiel. Well, the good thing about the Mexican kid, you know, he's probably going to have a great motor, right? Going to the end of the fight. Plant's always had a terrible gas tank, always fucking fades, right? In the back end of a fight. So what part of the card? What part of the card? We're watching the final fight, Plant versus Armando. I got it wrong a little bit. I don't want nothing to do with white people, LeBron James says. Fucking Christ, man. I don't want nothing to do with white people. But yeah, black people can't be racist. White people have been the majority of people who supported LeBron James for his fucking career. You know how I know that? Because the majority of the population of America is white. All those people buying his shoes, buying his Nike pair apparel, you know, white people. But once he started preaching and talking politics, the same dude that goes to Diddy white parties, that's fucking where he lost fucking everybody. Montiel was the welterweight that gave Charlo a tough fight on Juneteenth. Ah, okay, I remember that. But that was the beginning of his fall, right? When he fucking, after he fought Derevchenko and then he was inactive and started fucking drinking and smoking crack and fucking everything else. Charlo looked mediocre. His body looks old and flabby. Obviously, he's still got a good jab, right? His jab is better than Plant's jab. He was able to establish that. Look at that. Dude, you're winning the fight. Why are you throwing headbutts? Stop that shit. They're looking for a reason to disqualify you to give Plant the fucking win. Stupid motherfucker. Dudes are dumb. If you don't wear a Canadian tuxedo, I don't want to have anything to do with you. You would love my coworker. Fucking, he's from Belize. He always wears fucking Canadian tuxedos to work. Mind you, it's too fucking hot in Taiwan, so you won't see me wearing a Canadian tuxedo very often. Only the wintertime, maybe. Charlo got radar on his jab. No, Charlo's jab is great. Like, you look at his jab compared to Plant's, and Plant's a guy who tries to be defensive and slick, but his jab ain't what Charlo's is. Charlo's jab is punishing, and like I said, he can win fights as an old guy just because of his jab, kind of like Golovkin. But obviously we can see that Plant can't win that way because his jab, it don't got nothing on it. It's just a pick and a poke. Poke, poke, poke. Hey, Sean, do you think Charlo can beat Edgar Berlanga? Right now, no. Balanga's way too big for him. He would just fucking power through him. Finish what you were saying. Me? What was I saying? Is it safe to say Charlo has a piston jab? It is. No, he's got a good jab. When the Charlos were first coming up, right, and they were Golden Boy fighters, they were getting tons of hype because of their upside. People were excited about them. Unfortunately, once they joined the PBC, then they fucking became irrelevant because they no longer were relevant. They just basically wanted to do PBC island shit. Round Ted, Caleb. I don't know if you're going to win by landing a few jabs here and there. Charlo's performance. Yeah, no, Charlo's just looks, his body looks old, right? Like he hasn't been training for years. He looked flabby, soft. So he doesn't look like he's comfortable at the 168-pound weight. I think he'd be still better at 160. But obviously he was in with a bum-ass opponent whose face started to break up just off of his jab. Look at this. You're cherry picking some bum ass dude whose last opponent was 5-2 for some bullshit WBA fucking email title, and you go in there and you look like a bum against him. The last time this guy fought a credible opponent, he got knocked out in 8 rounds. But no worries against Caleb Plant. Charlo could go BS. What do you mean Charlo could go BS? Is she pregnant again? She look a little pregnant. Chubby and shit. Oh, Jag, thank you very much. Gifted 5 new members. And currently there's a video on my membership group that only members can watch. Check it out. White Pride. Plant is getting exposed. Charlo could go back to 160 and fight Janabek. Well, I think he'd be better at 160. I think he looked better at that weight, but you know, he's big enough to obviously be at 168. It's just a matter of, have you been training? What have you been doing, right, during the last 2 years? Obviously, partying too much. Plant might get upset. It'll be interesting to see if the PBC actually fucking allows Plant to lose this fight, because that would cost them big pay-per-view. And right now, it looks like there's no chance that he's going to win this fight unless he was to score like a knockdown or something. But I don't believe the judges. What's WP? Charlo battling so many demons. We lucky to see him fight. Let's be grateful. Grateful? Come on, man. There's been a lot of boxers that fucking pissed their careers away. And there will fucking be lots of boxers who piss their careers away. You know, the reason he fucking threw his career away is because he got paid too much money for fighting bum-ass opponents on PBC Island and fucking felt like he was a star and didn't have to do what he had to do to earn fans' respect. And this is what ends up happening to you. You got too much money, you feel too entitled, and then you go out there and fucking throw your career away. Fucking Plant's getting busted up like crazy. This was the guy that John Boxing said was better than David Benavidez. Typical Charlo fan. Armando should start running to avoid getting KO'd in the last minute. Well, if Plant is able to knock him out in the last fucking 4 minutes of this fight, that would be fucking well worth watching. Because I don't know if Plant's career he's ever done something like that. I felt Plant would come in and be far more slick and far more sharp and go in there and just box circles around this kid. But man, he's looked like garbage. Plant's getting tested. Tested? He's getting fucking beaten to a bloody pulp. You can't take some unknown Mexican fighter for granted. There, you finally landed a good counterpunch. Don't look all tough. You're fucking losing, man. Like, I'm not surprised if you end up winning a split decision or something, because it is what it is. But what was my prediction for this? Plant by majority. Charlo by split. Hernandez by majority. Moten by second round TKO. Now I wish I would have watched the fight. Well, yeah, with Plant getting his ass beat up. 1 round to go. Go out there and continue doing what you're doing. You shouldn't have to worry about Plant's power, but you definitely need to win as many rounds as possible. Otherwise, don't be surprised if you get fucking robbed on the scorecard. It's a draw. And we still get to watch Charlo versus Plant on pay-per-view for $85. Just what we all wanted. Round 12. Recording a life-altering victory. They got Armando up by 6 rounds. The last round they gave to Plant. Of course they did. See the way Plant's fighting? He's still fighting like fucking he's winning. He's fighting like, he's not behind on the cards. I can still stay on the outside, be defensive. I don't need to fucking push forward and try to do something. I'm winning this card on the scorecards for sure. You have Charlo by split decision versus Cornflake. Well, I figured because he'd been inactive for a long time, it would probably just end as a unanimous decision. And of course, you don't make extra points by unanimous decision in my league. So it's better to say a majority decision or split decision. If you get it right, you get extra bonus points. But if it just ends up unanimous decision, you still just get normal points. I still wish Canelo would have beat the pulp out of Boo Boo Andrade. Sure, me too. I mean, that's probably a fight that we can get next now on pay-per-view. Andrade versus Charlo. So if Armando wins this fight, he's going to become the WBA baby belt champion at 168 pounds, meaning potentially he can get a Canelo Alvarez fight. But that just shows you the problem with boxing, right? You fucking make up. The WBA, of course, has always been in the PBC's pockets. You make up a title to give fucking Caleb Plant, acting as if he's something he's not, so you can help build up a fight for pay-per-view. Plant, Charlo in jeopardy. Well, kind of like Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. Look at that, 175 to 98. And Plant's still running, moving around the ring like he's winning. I'm winning. I just need to be safe. Box and move, box and move. I can tell you, I love to see fucking slick boxers get beat. So this is an excellent day. Especially if it's a slick fucking PBC fighter. Oh, Plant threw punches for the last fucking 20 seconds. Is Lester Martinez good? Lester's fun. He's a fun, exciting fighter. I don't know if he's a elite world champion type of dude, but he should be academic. But I was saying, is that a baby? Why are you just throwing the baby around? But yeah, Lester Martinez works with Bud Crawford, right, in his team. He's an exciting fighter. Only showing Caleb Plant highlights. Oh, there you go.
There was times where Caleb Plant was landing vicious body work. Good shots, good left hand. But again,
he got no power.
And that was aggression again. Smart, short body work. Overhand right, overhand left. Volume, sharp right hand, constantly on top of Caleb Plant's left hand.
I know Charlo disappointed because if Plant loses, then the options are much harder. Pacheco, Berlanga, if he wins, Billy. I don't think Charlo beats any of those guys. He has a better chance to beat Plant. Well, it's true, but maybe they'll throw him in with Armando, right? Obviously, you can't do it on pay-per-view, but I want Pacheco versus Beck the Bully. Oh, Pacheco will kill Beck the Bully. I mean, what's-his-face really fucking blew that yesterday, Fulgrim, allowing Beck the Bully to fucking get that decision. A draw? Split decision. Split decision.
116 to 112 in favor of Armando Resendiz. Judging ringside, David Sutherland scores them out 115 to 113 to Caleb Plant. Time, Steve Whitesfeld sees it 116 to 112 in favor of the winner. And the new interim WBA super middleweight.
Good. At least they didn't fucking rob the guy. But a split decision. It's like, come on, man. The fix was fucking in. Caleb Plant, you bum ass motherfucker, threw away $1 million payday.
La mejor parte de mi carrera. La verdad, siento muy feliz, muy contento. Yo sé que puede haber personas que no crean en mí. Eso es normal, porque había razones para creerlo. Entonces, yo estoy muy contento y muy feliz porque yo sí creía en mí. Mi esquina creyó en mí, mi preparador físico, mi manager, mi promotor, todos creyeron en mí. Dice el Señor que me dio la bendición y me dio la fuerza para ganar. Listen, I don't blame them. I knew that everybody was going to be against me. And I don't blame them because on paper, of course, it was like that.
Of course, you say that. So did David Benavidez's resume take a significant damage? Because that's the best name on his resume. The only champion at 168 pounds. Exactly.
You said you would pull the upset, and then you wanted Charlo. Is that the case right now?
That's a fight you might as well make. Canelo still got the best resume in the sport, easily, unlike Benavidez.
Congratulations on
And then we're gonna fucking go talk to Plant. Let's leave the champion alone because no one cares about him. Ugh.
Caleb Plant, it was a close decision, a split decision. Do you agree with the three judges ringside?
I mean, I felt like it was close, and when a close fight, sometimes it swings the other way. I felt like I was controlling enough and using the whole ring, using my jab, but the judges saved the other way. So what do you do?
He's known for being a pressure fighter. Was any part of his boxing ability surprising for you in there tonight?
No, not really. It wasn't like overbearing pressure. He got me one over here, punches right in front of that. Nothing really hurt me except me, but disappointed obviously. But
Are you frustrated in your performance tonight?
I feel like I did good. I used my jab.
I did good.
Was patient, but I wasn't the better man, and I guess I felt like I didn't pull it off, but it's not the way I went.
We thought that a victory in this fight could produce a fight with Charlo, but where do you go from here after this close defeat?
I'll just get back to my team, go with my family, spend time with my daughter, my son going away, and we'll regroup and we'll be back.
Congratulations, Caleb. Maybe on the way. Best of luck to you. Thanks for being a stand-up fighter.
Thank you, brother.
Let's throw it back to ringside. And Moro Ronaldo.
All right, Brian, Caleb Plant was ahead 58-56 on two scorecards. It was even 57-57 after 6 rounds. Rezendi swept the last 6 rounds on 2 cards to record the biggest win of his career. Coming up on July 19, the return of the all-time great Manny Pacquiao challenging Mario Barrios for the welterweight title, headlining a stacked card for
Stacked card. 2 bullshit fights. Headlining.
Saturday, July 19th. Pre-sale tickets are available this Tuesday, June 3rd from 10 a.m. Pacific until 10 p.m. Pacific through AXS.com with code PBC.
Pacheco gonna knock McCumbee out.
June 4th, 10 a.m. Pacific through AXS.com. What a great night it's been here at Mandalay Bay's Michelob Ultra Arena. Isak Lucero recorded a 6th straight KO against previously undefeated Omar Valenzuela in the 2nd round. And then we saw Yoeli Hernandez with a dominant unanimous decision over Kyron Davis, including a knockdown in round 2. Jamal Charlo, he dropped Thomas Lamana 3 times. And then on the advice of
See, the problem with boxing fans are people like John Sean, who always wants to push some fucking narrative. Canelo Alvarez got tons of victories on his resume. David Benavidez is going to move up to cruiserweight to fight Zerto, right? And people are still going to act like Bivol ducked him at 175. It's like, give me a break. Who'd you beat at 175? You beat Morrell, a dude with not even double-digit fucking wins, who's a 168-pound baby belt champion, never faced a top 10 competitor in his career, and you faced the fucking guy coming out of retirement in Bozdick. Congratulations. Sean, how is the Juneteenth card coming along? What Juneteenth card? How did they drop the bag on that, right? Like, I thought that was going to be the next big PBC thing, Juneteenth, doing it for the culture. I don't know what's going on with Juneteenth. Morrell could also lose his next fight, but that wouldn't be good for Benavidez or his resume. You got to expect Morrell to beat the Russian kid, because obviously that guy has had only 8-9 fights, right? It's a big ask for him. He's never faced a top 10 competitor either in his career, and now he's got to face Morrell. So I expect Morrell to win that fight. Benavidez' resume ain't never going to touch Canelo's. Let it go. Ain't never going to touch Canelo's. No fucking chance. Like, let's be real. Plant fumbled the bag. Yes, he did. He fucked that shit up in a big way. Can you imagine? Like, see, this is the problem, right? When you give people cherry pick opponents they can't get fucking hyped for. Like, people were critical of that New York show, but at least those guys were put in with legitimate competition. That when I talked about that card, I said I could see all the challengers potentially winning. I could see Rolly beating Ryan Garcia. He did. I said there was going to be an upset. I could have saw Barboza beat fucking Tio. He didn't. Tio fought very well. Not exciting, but did what he had to do. And I could have saw Ramirez beat fucking Haney. But of course, Haney fought a real negative style, ended up winning a fight that really hurt his career, really. It didn't help him. The only good thing is boxing fans have short memories. If he comes back and looks great in his next fight, people are going to forget the disappointing performance, right? That's how quick people change. But like, people are so critical, but at least those 3 fights were legitimate opponents, top caliber dudes. You just threw these PBC dudes in with bum ass opponents, right? And one of them got beat. Shh. I look forward to Charlo versus Plant. I was looking forward to it. Well, I wasn't looking forward to it. So now it's better. Now I don't have to fucking talk about it anymore. The Plant win isn't as good for either Benavidez or Canelo. Well, that's not true, because when Canelo beat Plant, Plant was an undefeated world champion, and it was for undisputed unification. Actually, PBC too lazy. They could do such a card in the South or East Coast. You think Morrell can stop Iman? I don't know, Sean. I got a feeling Iman Kadiev going to pull it off. I understand he not been in with anyone, but them Russians be killers. Well, we've seen Morrell fight similar caliber fighters. Kazakhstanian guy that was undefeated with big power almost fucking killed him, right? Because it was just too big of a step up, right? This is kind of a similar situation. I don't know if it'll play out the same, but it's similar. 168 low key has the most talent. They can't even say that that's Morrell's best win. Morrell never beat a top 10 opponent, but it's a great win for Benavidez. This makes me think McCumbee doesn't stand a chance against Pacheco. He doesn't. That dude's going to get fucking destroyed. What's this fight I'm watching? Old legend, Japanese fucking actor. A true gangster. What movie is this? When you talk about Japanese gangsters, this dude is a consummate actor that represents and plays that. I don't know what movie it is. What movie is this? Broken Rage. Broken Rage. A lot of people think McCumbee is danger for Pacheco. That's because people underestimate Pacheco and overestimate McCumbee because of how good he looked against fucking Caleb Plant. But now, how do we rate that now? Right? McCumbee can punch, though. Oh, fuck. People can punch. That don't mean nothing. You got to land a punch, right? This is going to shock the fucking boxing world. Caleb Plant losing to a bum-ass opponent. Like, even fucking Caleb Plant knocked Trevor McCumbee out in 9 rounds. Caleb Plant, who's got zero power. Zero. As we just saw today. That dude couldn't knock out fucking his wife. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like Madrimov versus Crawford. But I bet what happens with Plant will cause the odds on that fight to widen. McCumbee got lumberjack strength. Well, good thing it's not a wrestling match. Jaime, they are saying Madrimov would beat Canelo. Well, that's the irony, right? After that fight, just to hype up Bud Crawford, they're talking about how Madrimov would beat Canelo Alvarez. I mean, who was it? Fannin? Who? Dante? Somebody talking about how Madrimov has more skills than Canelo Alvarez. But we got to recognize that when that fight was first signed, people were saying Bud Crawford is cherry picking a dude with 10 fucking professional fights, right? People literally will fucking say anything. How do you think Canelo versus Crawford will play out? I think it's dangerous for Crawford early, right? And it'll be interesting to see what his legs look like. If he got good legs, I could see him winning the fight. Obviously, we know Canelo doesn't have high punch output, so Crawford should be able to throw and land more punches than him. It's just a matter of how's he going to deal with the body punches, right? Obviously, he's still a slender dude with thin legs who's never fought at 168. But as the fight progresses, if Bud Crawford's in the fight, then I could see him doing well in the last half of the fight, right? Long jab, great combination, fast hands. Cheeseburger Nation was the one saying that nonsense. Fucking people, man. Dixon Crawford's resume definitely took some damage with Virgil beating Madrimov. Well, to be fair, I mean, Madrimov was never seen as a great victory for Bud Crawford. So I don't think that really takes much of a damage to his resume. Nobody was saying that Crawford was a pound for pound top fighter because of his victory over fucking Madrimov. Actually, many people were saying that Madrimov beat him, and they were downplaying Crawford in that fight. Nobody fucking hyped up Madrimov. But the problem with stupid boxing fans like this is that they fail to realize the whole point, that styles make fights, right? This has always been true. Styles make fights. If one guy struggles with this guy and this guy goes on and beats a guy that this guy fought and got beat by, you can't use triangle theory because that shit just doesn't work. Styles make fights. Just because my man Virgil did well against Madrimov and seemed to be more dominant than Bud Crawford, that don't mean fucking Virgil going to beat Bud Crawford. Virgil got a way different style. He's going to actually walk into the kitchen, allowing Bud Crawford to fucking open up a can of whoop ass on him. Madrimov was way too tentative against Bud Crawford, staying on the outside, afraid to fucking initiate anything. The reason why I didn't think he won the fight is because you can't win if you don't throw punches, right? Virgil going to throw punches, and it's going to allow Bud Crawford every opportunity to fucking open up on him and beat his ass. So I think Bud Crawford beats Virgil. Virgil and Boots, that fight looks better now. Triangle theory is for morons. Yeah, and that's who uses it. Fucking morons, right? People that fucking try to sell something that, real fans don't buy. Real fans know that shit don't mean nothing. What happened to Moten? Was he even on this card? I didn't see Moten on this card. That's disappointing. Because Moten, I thought, was going to be in with a good Cuban fighter. So I thought maybe that fight could be good. But Hernandez, the Cuban fucking puncher, that kid's good. That kid's one to watch for sure. The Dodgers win big against the Yankees. 18 runs. God damn. What happened there? Shohei Ohtani fucking killing it more. Let's go, Shohei. 7% of the global population, man. Ohtani, he's in. Is Shohei Ohtani the best baseball player of all time? Let me hear your opinion. Obviously, I was a huge Barry Bonds fan, and I think Shohei Ohtani obviously is better than Barry Bonds because Barry Bonds was not a fucking elite level pitcher. But both of them are 40-40 guys, right? For baseball players, I always love dudes with power and speed, kind of like boxing. Same thing. I love dudes that have power and speed, boxer punchers, not boxers, and not just punchers. I need a dude that's got the full package, a guy that can fucking box, use his jab, but then can sit down and throw some heavy fucking leather. That's Shohei Ohtani. The dude's a monster, making baseball great again. Tomorrow is the beginning of your month, Sean. The beginning of my month? What's my month? Juneteenth? Black History Month? Isn't Black History Month February? When's Black History Month? February, right? It's surprising Oh, shut up. Is June LGBTQ month and Juneteenth all in the same month? How's that for DEI? When is white people with red neck month? That's my month. LGBTQ. I thought fucking Trump canceled that. Mirage going to Pride Parade tomorrow. He is with his David Benavides fucking crop top. What's up, pound for pound? How'd you like Caleb Plant dropping the bag? He fucking botched that shit up in a big way. Home run. Dodgers 7, Yankees 0. Gay Pride Month. I guess this month we're going to have the Pride Parade in Taipei then. Okay. Mirage is going to go with Ashy Knuckles. Is that the Ashy Knuckles from back in the day? Is he an old guy, or is this like the new version of Ashy Knuckles? Because Ashy Knuckles used to be a Floyd Mayweather fucking fanboy. Who's he a fanboy now? Now he's a fanboy of David Benavides? The Dodgers. Are the Dodgers going to be the most dominant fucking franchise in baseball history? Benavides. So now Ashy Knuckles is all over Benavides, even though Benavides and Floyd Mayweather are not even fucking similar. Eight nothing Dodgers. Man, this is embarrassing. After fucking two innings. I remember asking Knuckles from back in the day. Oh, Ashy Knuckles back in the day. Yeah, that's why I wonder if it's the same guy or like his son using his dad's moniker. Because I know that guy was like, he must be pushing 50 now. Home run. Damn. Dodgers are killing it. The small speedster from Korea, Kim, with a 2-run home run. 10-0 Dodgers. Yankees 0. He's still around apparently. Okay. He still have his YouTube channel. I should check it out. Ashy Knuckles. That dude needs fucking cream, man. That's the problem. That's why he's so ashy. Ah, the Dodgers got a run. Good job. Oh, there he is. Yeah, that's him. But his last video was like 9 months ago. So that's why when I see him out, right, he hasn't put out content for like almost a year. Oh, the back catcher with the home run. PBC fans are bloody knees. I seen him on the IBFP channel one time not long ago. Fighting over David Benavides and Canelo. 14-1. Max Muncy. So Muncy, this is the kid for the New York Yankees Muncy, who was a catcher, right? Who ended up like dying. Didn't Muncy die in like a car crash or something? Muncy, who was a back catcher back in the day. I'd never listen to that clown anyways. No. I argued with him a bit back and forth, but just a bit. But I need to drop the kids off at the pool and feed the pup. So thanks everyone for jumping in. Obviously, it was a fun watch seeing Caleb Plant be exposed by some bum ass fucking mediocre fighter. It'll be interesting to see what the PBC plans are now. But let me know in the comment section below. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And look forward to my new era Cuban video that's coming out later on today when I break down some of the most exciting Cuban fighters in boxing currently. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Have a good weekend, whatever's left of it. And I'll see you next weekend. And probably one live later this week, even though I have a PPT for work to do. So I might be busy doing that, but we'll see. Wish me luck.